it wasn't people, you were treating diseases, and I thought that treating people was a much better approach. And I started learning about, when I saw that there was a lot out about, I mean, not nearly as much as there is today, but, people who were doing more natural healing. And, I never heard about natural medicine in med school. I didn't hear about detoxification or juice cleansing or other, or acupuncture or herbs or things like that. And, now that's all come to pass. So I think it was more tuning into the changes that were happening. And, writing my first book, Staying Healthy with the Seasons, that came out in 81, was one of the early books that said, hey, there's more to healthcare than just, taking drugs. And, that's when I developed my more integrative practice, and realizing the most important aspect of that, besides being multidisciplinary and looking at people's whole lives, not just what's wrong with them, but it really comes down to a difference in a question, which is partly an attitude, which is when you don't feel well, a Western approach is to ask a question: what can I take to make this go away? Whether it's for a headache or a cold or whatever. And a more integrative question, a more healing question is: why is this present in my life? What's needed for me to heal? And that takes a little bit of listening to your body. It often takes resting, stopping, and nourishing yourself differently. But it merely takes listening to your deeper self. And, I personally believe that our mind-body is very much like a biocomputer, where if we ask the right questions, we, maybe get an answer that maybe will be helpful.
I love what you just said. I'm wondering, I'm just really curious about this. Do you ever have a patient that says, no way, I won't do it. I won't do an alternative method, even if you explain to them that in the end they will really be helped?
Well, it's more like a whole program, Gabrielle. It's okay. A lot of, most people come to me because they're aware, but even though, I'm one of the only, alternative-oriented doctors, I'll say, in the North Bay area, San Francisco area, that takes insurance and Medicare. So some people come to see me, and they're not really sure where they are yet. They don't know that I'm, maybe done some changes, or I'll talk to them about their health. But I really personally believe that you are your primary doctor. One of the courses I teach is, how to be your own best doctor, healing from the inside out, and it has to do with you really making the choice for yourself. I see people every day that say, I give prescriptions because that's what they want. I'm not sleeping well. I've tried melatonin. I've tried tryptophan. I'm still not sleeping well. Okay, let's try this. Let's see how it's worked. Everything, when I speak to audiences, especially to medical professionals, I say we need to know that everything we do in healthcare is an experiment/experience. What we're going to do, it has to be tested on us, each of us. Just because it's worked for other people doesn't mean it'll work for us. And that could be a new diet. That could be a prescription medicine. It can be a supplement. It could be any number of things. So we always have to pay attention, and that's why, to me, self-awareness is the most important aspect of watching your own health care.
Absolutely.
Whoops. Anyway, as you were saying that, and you mentioned in regards to the class, is it a webinar, and is it something that people can sign up for from anywhere? And if so, how can they do that? Because I'm ready to sign up now.
All right. Well, I have I have various things online. My website is my name, ElsonHaasMD.com, ELSON Haas HAASMD.com, and I have a free course called 5 Keys to Staying Healthy, which helps you assess where you are, where are your weak areas, where are you in terms of your nutrition, your exercise, your sleep, etc. So that's one area. I also, since I've been kind of the detox doc for a number of years, plus I have loads of articles on, detox and, the purification process on that website, and also my clinic website. So I find, all right, so one of the things I talk about, talking around the country about, elimination diets and detoxification processes, which doesn't mean fasting or water fasting. I mean, it can mean a lot of different things. And my book out, The Detox Diet, was one of the earlier books about the topic. Now there are many different books and many products out about that. But I'm doing right now an online detox program, a 2-week detox called Winter Detox 2019. And I have, so people can still sign up and watch the first class. The second class is Wednesday. But everybody does 2 weeks, and I'm doing it on Zoom. So everybody does 2 weeks off of caffeine, alcohol, sugar, wheat, dairy. It's, basically an elimination diet. So you clean up everything and you say, okay, now how I feel. So, several people in the group they're off coffee and they had a headache for a day or two. Right? They get through that, by, hydration, sometimes even, a little over-the-counter medicine for pain. But, so that's one thing that I do consistently, and I do a guided cleanse in the spring, which will probably be in early April this year, and then I do an autumn detox. So one of the most valuable things I've done, and to me, rewarding, is to help people make changes and really tune into what works for them, what's the best foods for them, what doesn't work for them. So when you do this type of elimination diet, you're not only supporting the detoxification of your body and eliminating toxins, giving your liver and your body a little vacation, but you also have the ability to look for food reactions and allergy, which as you bring them back in, you can see, okay, my body liked that or doesn't like it, and then you can find out what the best diet is for you.
Yeah,
so that's one area. Sorry, I have another line that's kind of ringing true.
Online is the January 9th still open or totally not? You will do another winter detox, right?
I will do another one, but not for a couple months. The January 9th one, people can go on and start. They can sign up for it, from the website. And then they can watch over the next, 48 hours before the next class and then come online for the next one. I have had a few people sign up after we started, and that can work. So it will be the recording of the last week's show is on live, so people are on tape, so people can watch that and then start their program and continue longer, because many people will go on this Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific time, and then the following Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific time, and people can do that, and they can carry on longer. And I have a Facebook group for everybody in the class. We have emails, so people can be coached and guided toward that. So to me, that's a really valuable experience, and you don't necessarily have to be in my group to do that. You can do it out of, courses online. You can do it from different books. My Detox Diet book, guides people step by step through the whole process. So that's kind of syndrome that I've kind of named because of my speaking around the country, on the idea of detox and elimination diets. I call it the stimulation sedation syndrome. And it's based on the activity of people using stimulants and sedatives, substances, caffeine, alcohol, sugar, cannabis, and prescription and non-prescription drugs to manage their mood and energy. So many people, 90% or more that I, from my talks when I ask people to raise their hand, who's free from daily habits to what I call the snacks, SNACC, sugar, nicotine, alcohol, caffeine, and chemicals. Mm-hmm. So I'm covering a lot of stuff all quickly here. We can take it apart a little bit more. But so I find that when people are trying to manage their mood and energy, and particularly the quality of their sleep goes down, then they don't have energy the next day, and they need more caffeine and sugar, and the whole vicious cycle happens. So the program that I have, which is a course online, and it's built in with videos, and it's a 1 week, it can be longer too, called Regain Your Natural Energy. And it's basically a guided program for people to take a week or two off of their substances, come back to their better sleep and natural energy. Now, I'm doing a free class on February 23rd that will be posted on my website too, and if you sign up for my newsletter, then you'll get all that information sent to you. A free class called Healing Sleep. It'll be on February 23rd. I think that's at 5 or 5:30 as well. and that will be up on my website soon.
Yeah.
But that's in really engaging, because I think that people who don't sleep well don't typically feel well, and I think they're more prone to other kind of health issues, even cardiovascular issues. So quality sleep is, to me, a given. I mean, that's really needed for people to feel healthy and well. And so those are some of the things I got going.
Well, yeah, and I was going to agree with you, because I agree that it's a vicious cycle in which it doesn't matter where it starts. If it starts with the sleep or it starts with a chemical or something like that, but it seems to be this cycle that just continues to snowball and it doesn't get better. So yeah, I agree. And I was also thinking you can probably add television to that list too, but I'm not sure where a T fits into your wording, your acronym.
But definitely, the sleep quality, if we talk about sleep, all the electromagnetics and, even what we have in our bedroom,
yep.
Like I took TV and all my electronics out of my bedroom a few years ago, got a better mattress, sleeping much better,
yep.
And I don't have the interference. But yeah, some people are really sensitive to, TV, and other things. Like one of my things is, my sweetie asks me sometimes, how can you go to bed happy and you get up happy? How do you do that? I said, well, I'm in a state of denial and I don't watch the news.
Perfect.
Love it.
Yeah, so it's just, there's always stuff going on. When if you're a regular newsie, there's always traumas, there's always stuff going on. Yes, when it hits home, when it's close to you, like, fires down there, fires up in Northern California, yeah, I mean, people are, it's very sad. And that's where, kindness and helping others in your neighborhood is the good place to start, in your own home, an even better place to start. And, really, caring about one another. And, but to me, it starts about caring about your body, caring about the earth. And, that's why, my work for kids incorporates me as Dr. Sun, because my name is Elson, so that came easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a Leo, so that even helps it more. But, reaching kids and families about learning how to take care of yourself. We're not taught that. We're exposed to, media and sugar and, junk everywhere. And, one of the nutritional tips I give to families and kids is learn the difference between real food and treats. Treats
mm-hmm.
are, sodas, candy, chips, anything sugar, baked goods, French fries, the number one vegetable in the country, and real food is, veggies and fruit and grains and beans and nuts and seeds and, proteins as you like, so, that should be 90% of our diet, and then occasional treat, because, everything's okay, but we tend to be habituated to things, and that's one of the things it helps to really look at and say, I'm going to just take a break. I mean, that's the message in my detox diet book is, you have a relationship with everything in your life.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Is that a healthy relationship or is it not healthy? If you don't take a break, if you're in a bad personal relationship and you go on vacation for a little bit and you come back and you realize how much less stress and how not fighting with one another, it helps you feel better, and then you come back into it, or whether it's a job that you take a break from and you go back to and say, I don't want to be here anymore, So you want to try and create healthy relationships with everything, and that includes your substances, that includes your diet, that includes the people in your life, your work cohorts. I mean, when people have conflict with one another, it's really hard, In my new medicine book, one of my favorite areas that, I think people don't really know how to address, it's called, it's in the mind-body section, it's called The Art and Practice of Peacefully Not Getting Along. Learning how to fight with your loved ones, or even somebody at work, in a way that's, that honors you both. It's almost like a healthy doctor-patient relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's a healthy relationship where you have respect, where you really listen, where you're really present with somebody, where you're not reactive. I mean, one of the things that I talk about in my book and also with my staff at Preventive Medical Center of Marin is learn the difference between a reaction and a response. A reaction is a defense. A response is, I really receive what you're saying, and I'm letting that percolate through my being, and now here's what I feel about that. You give yourself a little time, but if you say something immediately, you're usually kind of not really receiving it.
Well, first of all, my first thought is if we could make that mandatory that all politicians must read that section of the book before even running for office, that would be a start in the right direction. For everybody out there, a lot of the classes